Frank Black is an amazing school that has a remarkable story, especially in its recent history. It has been driven from a school closure list to the best middle school in HISD by participation of hundreds and hundreds, and actually now thousands and thousands of stakeholders. But leading the way has been the Frank Black PTO. There's no group, no organization, no clustering of people that has been more important than the PTO in the remarkable journey that we've been on. They provide the funding that has been so crucial and continues to be crucial now, especially with the budget constraints that we have. And also coupled with the funding is just this amazing group of people who are willing to dedicate hours and hours of their time and their vision to help build this remarkable school that benefits so many people. It's really been the only way we've been able to absorb the cuts and not have major impact to the students. In fact, we've been able, during a time of budget crisis, because of the PTO, because of the generosity of the folks participating at things like our auction, to be able to offset the cuts and absorb them and still provide a long list of opportunities for our students. And we've actually been able to expand our classroom grants for the PTO, making sure that our teachers, our rockstar teachers, have what they need in terms of supplies and visionary tools to make sure they're reaching all of our kids. Our grant funding for classrooms specifically has gone from $15,000 to $40,000 in terms of availability to our classroom teachers. We have some of the most hardworking, dedicated, talented teachers in all of the district and all of the state, and they are so thankful to know that they have the PTO behind them, and so that they don't feel stifled with regard to the needs of their kids, and also they can continue to layer in innovation in the classroom, knowing that they have a stable and reliable funding source that's not dependent on Austin, it's not dependent on HISD board members, it's provided by the parents of this school. It was remarkable that we took a theater and using last year's proceeds, we're able to create an awesome sound system. But everybody knows that the heart of this school is our magnificent performance theater. It seats 840 people. It's where Patrick Swayze performed when he was a student here. It is where our kids from all different backgrounds and all different talent levels and all different programs get to display what they're passionate about. And so the kids have brought me to tears over and over again in the theater with dance and with choir and with band and with our theater department and with LCDC and karate and all these different kids who perform and do such a good job in this remarkable space. So as we continue to upgrade it and move it into the 21st century, there is an aspiration to make sure our lobby stays well connected with the space. And then so that the idea is to continue to upgrade. It is so well utilized. It's used by hundreds and hundreds of students on a monthly basis, and to make sure that it's a welcoming space, it's a innovative space. It lends itself to the talent that you see on stage. So when you walk into the theater, we're hoping to upgrade the lobby space to make it warm, welcoming, and then on the same level as the caliber of our performances that our kids work so hard to put on. It is amazing. It is amazing, and there are folks in this room that are easily fit into that category, and dozens and hundreds over the course.
So it fits into what category?
Okay, okay. It is amazing the impact that parents can have when they lead as visionaries for the school. We've had so many different folks who lend their time and their talents and step up into leadership roles. We've had multiple parents who have taken not only a lead role in terms of being a visionary, but helping with tremendous levels of funding as well, and going off and taking on projects throughout the school to make sure that they are well designed, well thought out, and then well executed. So those parent visionaries, those folks who have taken the lead in both time and talent and their treasure, have really made a tremendous impact on our school, and they continue to do so. They continue to plan and design and to make sure that everything that we're doing has a remarkable amount of talent and attention. And the results are obvious. I mean, people are awestruck when they come to our school and see what's happened, especially those who were familiar with the school before the last few years.
Wow.
One of the things that people are most proud about Frank Black is that really working together, we have created a new model for public schools. We haven't looked to any other school in terms of exactly trying to model ourselves after it. We've become a unique institution, one that serves kids from every different economic background and every different academic background and every different cultural background. And we do it successfully. And one of the reasons that we have become one of the fastest growing schools in America, and one of the reasons that we have become so successful in what we're doing, is that all of us, all of the parents here, all the kids here, all of the administrators and all of the faculty members, they buy into the notion that every single kid from every different background should have a tremendous middle school experience when they show up here. And they do. And that's the driver. And again, the underpinning of all of that success has been the dedication of the PTO, the funding level of the PTO, and the commitment we have year after year to just get better and better. No, the parents have to play a role specifically in terms of involvement. And just because we've attained a tremendous level of success at our school, we can't coast. That's not what Frank Black is about. The model is to make sure that everyone is involved. All the students feel that they need to be involved, the parents need to be involved. Just because we've come a long way doesn't mean we don't have a tremendous amount of work to continue the effort and to make sure that we're always improving.
Hi, I'm Phyllis Prince, and I'm the Special Ed Department Chairperson here at Frank Black Middle School. And we have approximately 10% of our student population is being served by our Special Education Department who have disabilities. For some of the items that we utilize almost on an everyday basis, like the printer that we're so happy that the PTO has given us due to certain budget cuts that we have, we only have a certain amount of money that is allowed through the district and through the school as well to service our students. So every time we have an ORD meeting, we have to go over a whole agenda as well as a lot of paperwork. We have to give draft copies. We have to give paperwork considered for the procedural safeguards to the parent, the legal documentation. They have to get a copy, we have to keep a copy. So if we didn't have the printer that y'all graciously provided us, I would have to go to another room, to the main office, somewhere like that, to print out the paperwork, and then we have to deal with confidentiality issues, so that's not all over campus. Some of the funding that I've received and the school has received through PTO, which we again truly appreciate, is the monies that help me to, when I hold my monthly department chair meetings, I am allowed to even increase the amount of paperwork and handouts or strategies that the teachers can use to go ahead into the classroom itself to help the teachers. It's from information. I'm also like a liaison between the district when I go to my special ed department chair meetings, and from there I will bring back that information to the school, to the administration, to the SPED teachers as well as the general ed teachers. And so that money always helps so we can continue to provide those services to our students so that they can achieve success in all of our different programs that we have here at Frank Black Middle School. That is something I started a couple of years ago. The Autism Celebration Grant was truly appreciative again from PTO, because every April, I started it last year, we're going to do this every year. We have a celebration. We do have a lot of students that do have autism here on campus, and a lot of our students are aware of it. We wear t-shirts, things like that. But we also have students that, if you can see, our general ed students also do project it, promote it, and make awareness of it. We also have a balloon release we do in April. We invite the parents, the grandparents, community members, as well as certain staff and all that's not in class teaching, and we have them all celebrate with us in the community center to bring it all together to say all our students are our students and all our students can achieve. And if it wouldn't be for that grant, I couldn't bring it to the next level from PTO. So we're thankful for that.
Okay, so
the Autism Celebration is our autism awareness celebration that we have in April every year since I've came here, and it was started so that we can get everybody aware in the community, the parents and everybody excited about it. We have a balloon release as well. Okay?
awesome. And what is on your wish list and why?
Okay, wish list. I think what would really help sometimes is our teachers For the special education teachers, we do have laptops, but they are the older laptops. They have to use those laptops as well as the printers we have here, but we do need some updated laptops. It's the school provided laptops we have right now, but all the paperwork they have to do, not only to complete the IEP plan, the plan to implement, to have the students work well with their general ed classrooms, but also the progress reports they have to give, the goal setting, things like that as well. So I think if we could have more laptops for our teachers right now, I think that would be very helpful. Technology is really big. We're trying to get the students to work more online as well, and even in their testing, especially since the high schools are Power Up high schools, we're not at that level yet. So any part of technology that can enhance things here, whether it be from the Wi-Fi system to the laptops, would be greatly beneficial and appreciated. It's really important that our students understand that they're in middle school, but we have to transition them to the high school, but not only high school, but to be independent in everyday life, whether it be to go on to post-secondary school, to go on to a career, to be as independent living as possible as well. They can all succeed. They might just need a little bit more time or some other accommodations as well for that. So whenever we can do here at Frank Black to help our students to get better prepared to move on to high school, it's just like all our gen ed students that do or do not have disabilities. We need them to understand the importance of being in school every day, being able to give their all, the effort as well as their positiveness, as well as encouraging them to be motivated to learn as much as possible inside the classroom and outside socially with the students at different transition times and activities around Frank Black.
Cool.
We do have a couple of classrooms that we have. There are structured learning class. We have, it's in a self-contained class most of the day. They do go to elective classes as well, and then a couple of times every other day. And then the Trek kids we have, they have one class in Richmond first thing in the morning, but the rest of the time they're in the gen ed population going to their gen ed classes with everybody else with support in those classes. So all the other students that we have, the majority of our population of students with disabilities, they're in the general ed classes with either our co-teachers in the English and math classes, or they're with our gen ed teachers getting that support in the classes as well.
Would that be?
Okay, so the Eco Art grant was going towards an Eco Art adventure with Artist Boat. It's a kayaking adventure. Certainly a once-in-a-lifetime adventure for any students that would get to go on it. It can only hold up to 24 students for safety concerns, but it teaches these students about science, the ecological impact that humans have in the area that we're going to, or going out in the area in, I think, at Lake Charlotte. It teaches about watercolor, and it teaches about kayaking and water safety at the same time. Mostly because it was something unique. It's important because it was something that was unique for any kind of students. I didn't think that PTO would necessarily have the grant or give the grant to us, but it was a little bit of a shot in the dark. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I thought if there's one thing I'd like the PTO to maybe contribute to, it was this grant. I really appreciate the support that the PTO has given to us in the fine arts here at Frank Black. Often I feel very humble in that I'm able to be a part of such a school in the first place, and then that organization that supports us so greatly. Since I've been here, I know I've gotten thousands of dollars in the grants in the past. I know the Potter's Wheel that we have, as well as the easels that we have in the room, many of the electrical equipment, a lot of the printing equipment that we do have was a PTO grant in the past. And so that's really helped us out in having material that we wouldn't otherwise have.
Right, and then just look at the camera and say thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, the fact that the PTO offers us grants, it helps us up our game as far as our resources and things we need for class. So things like the tablet, like this was very cool. So our computer lab situation, it's a little hard to travel around a lot. If the kids can just have these and go back and forth to their desk seamlessly and use it as part of a lesson, that is such a big plus because it's 21st century. They need to be used to doing this. It doesn't need to be some kind of novelty. It's everyday life. We want it to be regular. Picking up and moving around, that's just not conducive to the efficiency of our class. So when PTO offers grants, we can do things to make our classrooms more efficient, drawing from each other. And yeah, Harvey, it impacted us. But teachers are resourceful. We know to go online, we know to go to each other, we know to go to the science teachers because we mesh too. So there are certain things that we can help each other with. It's been great. I mean, and the other thing is Frank Black, the community, the teaching community, everybody's just mature and everyone just wants to help all the time, as well as the PTO. The parents are great. So thank you guys. I mean, knowing that the PTO backs us and every year there's a grant available, it helps us plan for the future. So the fact that we wanted tablets this year, we got 7 apiece. Next year, we're thinking, let's all get 7 again, because we work collectively as a group as well. So getting the same brand, the same type, we're building up a resource that we can pass from class to class. So if the kids all need one individual, then they can do that as well. So we can plan into the future knowing that you guys back us. So the things that we are urgent for, we plan for now. And also as a department, we all apply, and each of us will apply for something different that we all can use collectively as a grade level. So yeah, it's very big. It's very big that we know you're there. Seriously, not just for the camera. Yeah, well, a lot of PTOs, they're there and they do little parties and fun stuff to help the kids, but the fact that you're putting resources in teachers' hands and that we get to choose, like you guys don't say, hey, oh, don't put that on there. But you all don't specify, you don't really limit us. You trust us to pick what we need for our classrooms, because every teacher has a different teaching style. So even though we all got pads, we all each also got something that we needed to make our personal planning efficient, like a certain folder system or a certain, doohickey for this or that. So we also can personalize it as well as work as a team. Thank you, parents, for your support.
So the hardest hit areas impacts our general funding, and our general funding is what supports our staffing. It's what supports, and because we're a growing school and our enrollment increases every year, we're projecting an even higher enrollment next year. That causes us to need more staffing, and so when we get our general funds taken away from us because of budget cuts, that impacts our support for our kids, right? And kids shouldn't have to suffer because of decisions made by adults from the powers that be, right? So we definitely, it's going to impact a lot of our student resources, it's going to impact a lot of our teacher resources, it's going to impact our programming for our fine arts, and so again, it's definitely, like I said, a win-win when we can partner with our community to leverage some of those funds to fill in the gaps. Because at the end of the day, we don't want our students to suffer because of those budget cuts and those decisions made by other people. So our PTO they're fabulous with helping us cover some of those gaps in our funds. They fund some of our campus resources as far as just basic supplies like paper and pencils and notebooks and things that students need, just those basic everyday things that students need. So that has been awarded to us as a campus as well as individual teachers. And so teachers have their individual needs, and we need to make sure that we're supporting our teachers. And so when the PTO comes in and provides those grants, that helps out tremendously. Maintenance of a facility that's 60, 70 years old, there's some wear and tear, and there's things that need to be upgraded, there's things that need to be refurbished, some things that need to be added on. Well, our general funds, because it's being cut, we're not able to do those things anymore. So PTO kind of comes in and helps us with those as well, which is excellent because, for example, our fine arts, our arts in the theater, the lobby component, well, that's very outdated, and I think our theater is it's part of the pulse and the heartbeat of our campus, because not just fine arts uses it, everyone uses it, from athletics to grade levels, we all use the theater. And so if that is going to be a reflection of us, then we need to make sure that it's a part of excellence. And the way that it looks right now, the lobby, it needs some tender love and care. And so I think if we get funds from our auction and from our PTO that can help with that, that says a lot about it boosts the morale of the school. I think students and teachers also take pride in it a little bit more. And it welcomes the community as well for that to be a resource for the community to use. Wow, the Teachers Lounge. That was amazing. It was a nice little treat that wasn't expected by our teachers. It was a nice surprise. And you can see them now. They walk with a little pep in their step a little bit more as they're walking to the Teachers Lounge. I know I have personally seen departments who normally don't use that space. They now utilize the space for department planning. Teachers go in there. It provides a place of serenity for them to just kind of get away from the hustle and bustle of the everyday happenings on campus. And so that was definitely something that was given to us by the PTO that is being used to boost our morale of our teachers, which again, happy teachers, you have a happy campus. So as we grow as a campus, our digital needs also need to grow as well. So our students, again, we're preparing them for 21st century. We're preparing them to be able to compete with other students as they get older, and we prepare them to go to high school, correct? So the Clevertouch boards are a great addition to our campus because it allows our students to interact with concepts and content digitally, which is how they process information nowadays. It's not like when we were in school and it was paper pencil. Our students are engaged and they're motivated a little differently. And so the Clevertouch boards, they do exactly that. It would provide, 4 boards would provide 20 users on our campus for our staff. And so we're really looking forward to that. I said 4, I didn't say departments, but I said 4 Clevertouch boards would be utilized, equate to 20 teachers being able to use it.
In my particular department, in the music department and with choir, budget deficits and not having not much money in the budget, not even budget really for teachers. I even lost an assistant last year. So for the music department, having the PTO and having money, am I answering the question? Having the PTO and having the money really helps us to sustain a department, because last year when I came in, there was no music. And I purchased music and tried to just get the kids singing and making choir happen. And then this year it was a little bigger goal of maybe we can compete, maybe we can go to some festivals and look like we're a real choir. And so having the uniforms this year was part of that piece, with the ultimate goal of going to UIL. But this year it was really to get the kids clothes and have the girls in dresses and the boys in a tux, like, pant with a shirt and a tie. And for the morale of the kids, I think nobody has to worry about what they're wearing. They all are gonna look nice. They got lots of compliments, and of course they're middle schoolers, so they complain about it. But the parents were really impressed, and I think when people outside of our school see us and they see us in our uniforms, it puts us in a different level. And we haven't competed this year yet, but I've received comments from people saying even when you just walk in the room and you look like you're ready to perform in a uniform, whereas you come in jeans and a t-shirt, they look at you a little bit differently. So in order to bring Frank Black Music Department and the choir up to where it needs to be, to compete, to be seen as a force to be reckoned with at competition, the uniforms really helped this year, and we were so blessed. Plus the parents that helped alongside that. I had parents that came in tirelessly over and over trying on the uniforms. It was an act of Congress to make it happen. But as a teacher, I feel so blessed to have that, because I know in other programs and other schools I've been at or I've seen, they give up because it's too hard to do. And I would never have been able to do it without the PTO grant and without the parents helping here. I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have run the class. It would have been like an entire semester of uniform trying on. And that's just a piece. I still have to teach them music, and we still have to learn to sight read, and we still have to do all those other things. But I really believe that helps us have a professionalism that we needed. Well, on my wish list, I think really is the district's helping a little bit with some sight reading materials, but things, I want our kids to be able to go places and perform, so it's transportation to a certain extent, and also just getting our kids out there and continuing to have music and have, because right now we're beginners and we need to be intermediate and advanced in a couple years. So I need a library, I need music. I need music to continue to challenge the children, and I also need an accompanist. I need somebody to play piano, and that's not cheap. So when I bring people in, that's a whole other expense too that we have. So on my wish list, with that, yeah, thank you so much.
What do we call this?
Weight room, strength and conditioning.
There you go.
Arriving here last year, I noticed there was a big lack in the strength and conditioning department. I noticed a lot of weights sitting around in this big room weren't really being used. So I organized them, got the schools to pull a little bit of funds together, but it wasn't enough at that time. So the PTO stepped in, they really blessed us with a grant. It was able to buy some more equipment, some more bars, and the kids are actually putting them to use, and I'm actually seeing the results on the field, on the court. It's very important for the kids to actually grow in the weight room along with growing on the field with their skill set. The stronger they are, the less likely they are to get injured. The more likely they are to recover from injuries if they do get injured. Just the better shape the athlete's in, the better they can perform on the field, on the court. Okay. The next thing that I really would wish for our program is more outdoor equipment for our strength and conditioning program. This summer, I'm going to be starting a speed camp along with other coaches here on campus. A lot of these equipment will be utilized throughout that program, and things that I have on that wish list will also be needed for that program. Speed camp. Speed camp is where kids will come out there to be doing different running exercises, plyometrics, using some of the weights, and it just helps them learn more body control, increase speed, increase in stamina, agility, just makes them an overall better athlete. No, this program would not be available if it just relied on HISD funds. With the deficit and the strong need for more things in the classroom, we're kind of on the back burner when it comes to this type of specialized equipment. So that's why it's very vital that the PTO is stepping in and helping out our program. It means a lot to the kids, it means a lot to the coaching staff.
Last year, the PTO, they came in and did an awesome job and took over our locker room and changed out the lockers. And this is something that wouldn't have happened with HISD budget. And with that being done, we have had no fights in the locker room. All the girls are proud to be in there. They get dressed, get in, get out, and it's really awesome. We're looking forward to maybe improving it just a little bit more with some paint. There's a back corner that we'd like to improve and make it kind of like a study area for the athletes who are here after school. So when they're waiting for like a basketball game or a volleyball game, they have a place to kind of hang out and not get in any trouble. So there's a couple things that we'd like to just continue to improve our campus with. Last year, the PTO transformed the locker room by coming in and changing all the lockers. And it's been really a drastic change in morale for the students. They're happy to be in, they're proud, they take care of everything, they don't leave food anywhere or trash, and it's really done great. We have had no fights, any incidents in there. Swimming comes in and out, all the sports get to use it after school, and it's really great. We're still looking to elaborate in there and create a better atmosphere with some paint, make everything the same color, maybe have some murals on the wall that will increase the children's, motivation for when they go to and from sports. Also, there's a back corner we'd like to make like a study kind of area with maybe some couches or tables or something of that nature so that they can study while they're waiting after school on their way to the games, and just have a safe place to kind of hang out and get their stuff taken care of. Yes, this year I applied for some track equipment for a grant for track. This is my first year doing track for Frank Black. I have coached track before, and when I started looking at the beginning of the school year, we had no hurdles, and I was like, how are we running track with no hurdles? We're just making the kids show up and hope they don't fall flat on their face. This is not okay. This is setting the kids up for failure. So I applied for some hurdles and some track shoes and some starting blocks, as well as some other equipment, and it's necessary because you would never send your kids out on the basketball court without a basketball, or you would never send them out without shoes. So why are we sending the kids out to track with no equipment that will you know, make them successful. So we need to make sure we have this equipment. That's why I applied for those grants. The grant covered, I believe, 9 hurdles, if I'm not mistaken, and that would be efficient for 1 lap around the track, if that, for 1 runner. So if we were actually doing it correctly while the kids, for, you know, to practice correctly with all 4 lanes, we would need at least, you know, at least another 30 more. Well, here at FBMS, you know, we have a wonderful parent PTO engagement. I have seen it firsthand because my husband works at another HISD campus, that the difference is made with the parents. You guys come, and whenever we need something, y'all help us. And it's been really great. I've been really grateful to work here on at FBMS because I haven't needed for anything, and when I do, the parents help us. You know, we needed, my very first year we needed basketballs. We had absolutely no basketballs, and so out came the PTO grant. I applied and I received it, and now we have plenty, and all the girls get to practice, and you know, it makes a difference. We went from, you know, having absolutely no equipment to kids that don't have to, that we had to like scrounge for balls to play with, and now we have, everybody has one in their hand, and everybody's improving. We've gone from last place to first place, and the kids show up, they're happy to be there, they're working hard, and it makes a big difference when parents help, because they know that their parents care, and they're more willing to take care of it because they know their parents are a part of it and see what's going on. Well, unfortunately, because like basketball, we just have had district champs, pretty much.
So you're champs partly because of it?
Yeah, I mean, okay. Well, you know, our record here in the last few years, we've been almost undefeated every single year, especially for 7th grade. And I feel like with the equipment and the grants that we've received from the PTO, you know, has helped us been successful. It's helped the kids not have to worry about certain things that the other schools have to worry about. You know, the kids, they know they're loved. They know that they're taken care of, and it's a really unique school and unique campus to be a part of. Thank you guys for all you do.
One more time.
Thank you. Okay. So we use these courts out here for multiple purposes. Most of the time when we come out here, it's either with PE class or during an active lunch, and so we are going to I guess we're going to come together and resurface the courts out here, repaint them, and add 2 more goals so there's more active engagement out here on the courts. Hopefully we'll have it nice and level with no cracks, but at least have it painted, looking beautiful, and having more kids being able to participate with 2 more goals.
Since I've been here at Black, I was so excited to receive that we were able to receive grants from the PTO, and they've been really helpful with the dance department in providing us with things that I need for the dance studio, like tap shoes. I was able to get tap shoes for all of my students to offer the tap program on Fridays, and I was also able to we got a grant for a musical, all of these kind of things, and costumes, so that helps us have ability for the students to show off and have more opportunities with costumes and more to choose from for each show that we present and for our fall and spring concert. Without the PTO grant, I would probably have to ask the kids to purchase their shoes so they don't have to really buy those shoes. Otherwise we just wouldn't have them, and they would just have to, we wouldn't be able to really offer that program, TAP, without the PTO if they weren't helping with that. Oh, we have ballet, tap, jazz, modern, lots of things, but mostly when you see the shows, and I'm able to have, you can see those costumes featured in the fall and spring concert. We wouldn't be able to have these types of things because fine arts, usually there's not a budget for anything, so I'm just so grateful for the PTO to be able to provide these things for us to help enhance our program. Okay, I wanted a television for my dance programs to use as a resource for the students to help them to see themselves before performances, so they can evaluate themselves, so that they could get critiques from me, and so that they can improve before they go out to perform in the fall and spring concert or perform in performance events. It's also a great resource, so I can show them clips of professionals so they can have something to aspire to, and also I can show them videos and DVDs of dance history and educational aspects of dance. Okay, since I've received the grants from the PTO, the dance department and Ms. Nesby really appreciate your kindness, and we thank you for all that you do for dance.
And then just a thank you.
Thank you.
This is year 6 for me at Black, so I've been a part of the transformation that's occurred here for the past 6 years, and there's been two direct paths that are crisscrossing. Our school is just getting better and better students, teachers, ability to get things we need, and also funding has gone the opposite way. So we're at this intersection, and the thing that has led our school to be able to continue to go this way while funding goes down has been the gracious support of the PTO through the last few years. I'm a direct recipient of a grant this year. However, in the past, some science colleagues of mine have been recipients, other teachers, and being able to witness what those grants have led to in their classrooms has been remarkable, as well as now this year in my own after receiving a grant this year. So having a wish or a dream in our classroom that's attainable is key to us keeping that creative flame burning inside of us as educators. And seeing it in the classroom across the hall, the classroom down the hall, below us, lets us know that it's real. Even the smaller things, maybe the teacher's lounge, these grants matter to us as educators more than we could ever tell you guys. They help us not only to be creative with the kids, but to make us excited to come here and try new things, because without trying new things, we're going to become stagnant as a campus, and that's not good for any of us. So the escape room that the PTO was able to get for me is a mix of two things. It's the actual hardware, the locks, the boxes, the different coding things that we will use, as well as the actual planned materials. And you kind of need both, because time is the one thing I do not have enough of, and having these at my disposal are really, really helpful in planning and then executing these escape rooms. The general idea of an escape room is just like you might see downtown or out in Katy, where the students have to literally escape from the room. I don't lock the doors, they're not actually stuck in the room. However, there is a group of tasks that get progressively harder that involve not only decoding, but also whatever the skill or topic is that we are working on in the class. And you kind of just get to see the students really, really review and work as a team without them even realizing it. They love the escape rooms. They're most excited about those days. We turn the lights down real low. We play spa music, and they always know that there's a prize for whoever wins, and it becomes a huge competition. And we get closer to the end of the year, reviewing for STAR or any end of the year assessments. We're going to utilize them even more and just have class competitions, group competitions, and they're going to be having escape rooms once a week, twice a week, maybe even 3 times a week. So to the parents and the PTO, 2 words that I think everyone who's been in this video has said: thank you. Without you guys, we couldn't do what we do. This school would not be where it is. The past 6 years has been a learning experience for me, but I am so, so grateful to have you guys as teammates. The students are going to always be the middle school students they are. However, with your all support and gracious gifts, we are able to help them be ready for high school. And I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing what new things are happening every year, and I look forward to many years to come. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart.
So I applied for a grant for literacy games, and I feel really strongly that one of the best ways that students can learn is through play. We have a lot in our curriculum that's very structured, and sometimes I think that we need to step outside of that. And when students can direct their own learning and have fun with it and choose what they can do, they tend to get a lot more out of it. So we have story cubes, which they can build their own stories with. We have magnetic poetry, which they can create their own poems with. We have some board games. We have a lot of board games too. And we have some games like role-playing games that are a lot more free-form storytelling. But the point is they get a lot of choice with what they do. The way that it elevates their learning is, first of all, since they want to do it, they're more likely to put their, put their passion into it, or at least more than mild interest. And also, it gets us away from multiple choice questions that are very restrictive. And as far as elevating their learning and helping them master objectives, I think that there's just a lot more buy-in to it, and it's a little bit more real world. Like, you can look at all kinds of poems and you can try to create your own poem and sort of mimic them, and that's valid. But at the same time, that's me having them do something. And yeah, I do give them the games, that is coming from me, but they get to choose what they do a lot more, and I think that the buy-in is a big deal. Well, I've been teaching for about 17 years, and it is really rare that teachers actually get things that they want from their wish list that aren't crucial. Like, in the past, I've been able to get paper towels and things to clean off the desks, and those things are actually really crucial in running a classroom. But I kind of feel like we should have those anyways, and I shouldn't have to go to PTO and ask for those things. So it's really a treat when we can get things in our classrooms that are special and that are memorable for students, and that they might look back on and say, hey, remember that time that we made stories using those weird dice? That was really cool. Nobody looks back on their paper towels. Moving forward, something that's always on my wish list is contemporary novels. Through HISD, we have some great young adult libraries. They're wonderful, but new books are published every year, and my students always ask me for their favorites, second books in a series, third books in a series, from authors that they really love. And HISD doesn't always have the resources to update those libraries so quickly. Thank you so much, PTO. My students are having a lot of fun with the materials, and I hope that they can create some memories about 7th grade that are more than just from a textbook. Thank you.